Cowboys Nation. Welcome to your ultimate destination for all things Dallas Cowboys. From the latest news, game analyses, rumors, to deep dives into player performances and strategies, we've got you covered. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a play. Let's dive into everything you need to know about America's team. When the whispers start circling the practice facility, you can almost feel the air change. And that is exactly the vibe people swear surrounded the Cowboys headquarters when Amari Cooper was seen arriving with a calm smile and a quiet confidence. Nothing official stamped on paper yet, at least not in the public eye, but the rumor mill is roaring like a pre-game crowd. Folks close to the building say Cooper walked in like someone who knows he belongs, like a veteran returning home rather than a visitor negotiating terms. The talk is that this isn't just a routine meeting. It feels like a commitment, a long-term vision taking shape behind closed doors. The word floating around is a 4-year agreement. And even though nobody is flashing contracts on camera, the body language alone has people convinced this is more than smoke. For a YouTube audience, this is the kind of moment you lean into because it feels cinematic. A star receiver, a historic franchise, and a sense that something big is being stitched together quietly, without the need for flashy announcements. It's the type of story that thrives on speculation, where every hallway glance and every whispered greeting becomes part of a larger narrative about ambition and belief. What makes this situation even juicier is how naturally Cooper seems to fit into the culture that Dallas loves to sell to its fans. Sources are saying the conversations weren't tense or dragged out, but smooth, almost familiar, like both sides already knew where this was heading. That's where the 4-year talk really starts to gain weight, because long-term deals are about trust, not just money. The idea being floated is that the Cowboys see Cooper as a pillar, not a temporary fix, someone who can anchor the passing game and give the offense an identity that fans can rally behind. When you frame it as a rumor, it feels like the franchise is trying to send a message without saying a word, that stability and star power can coexist. You can almost imagine the front office painting pictures with words, explaining how Cooper's route running and presence could elevate everyone around him. None of this is confirmed, but in the world of sports storytelling, sometimes the feeling matters as much as the facts, and right now, the feeling is loud. People who claim to have been nearby describe an atmosphere that was surprisingly relaxed, not the high-stress negotiation vibe you might expect. That alone fuels speculation that the big decisions were already made before Cooper even walked through the door. The 4-year rumor keeps popping up because it represents security for both sides, a chance to build something instead of constantly resetting. For a YouTuber breaking this down, it's easy to paint the picture of a star who understands his value, but also understands the stage Dallas provides. The Cowboys brand thrives on narrative, and Cooper signing a long-term deal fits perfectly into that mythology. Fans love the idea of loyalty, even in a business driven by change. The talk isn't just about dollars or clauses, it's about legacy, about whether Cooper wants to be remembered as a cornerstone in one place. This is why speculation becomes so powerful, because it taps into emotions that stats never could. Another layer to this rumor is how teammates are allegedly reacting behind the scenes. The chatter suggests that seeing Cooper walk into the building sparked excitement rather than jealousy, which is not always a given in professional locker rooms. That kind of response feeds the idea that a 4-year commitment could stabilize the offense and give everyone clear roles. In speculative storytelling, this matters because chemistry is often the invisible factor that fans cling to when dreaming about success. The Cowboys have always leaned into star power, and Cooper's presence checks that box without feeling forced. You can almost hear the YouTube commentary tone rising, emphasizing how this move feels calculated rather than desperate. It's less about chasing headlines and more about reinforcing an identity. Again, nothing is officially stamped, but rumors thrive when multiple pieces seem to align naturally. And right now, those pieces are forming a picture that's hard to ignore. From a broader perspective, this rumored 4-year signing fits into a pattern of the Cowboys betting on proven talent instead of rolling the dice on unknowns. That's a narrative fans understand and often appreciate, even if they debate the details endlessly in comment sections. The speculation suggests that the front office believes Cooper's best football is still ahead of him, and that belief is what drives longer commitments. In YouTube-style narration, you lean into the idea that this is about confidence, about saying we know what we have and we're not letting it go. It's a powerful story hook, especially for a fan base that lives and breathes every rumor. Even without official confirmation, the arrival itself feels symbolic, like a soft launch of something bigger. At the end of this first wave of rumors, the core idea remains simple yet compelling. Amari Cooper showing up at the Cowboys headquarters has ignited a storm of speculation centered on a 4-year agreement that could redefine the offense's future. No press conference, no official statement, just vibes, whispers, and a sense of inevitability. For a YouTube audience, this is gold because it invites imagination. It allows fans to picture highlight reels that haven't happened yet and seasons that exist only in dreams. Whether or not the ink is dry, the story is already alive, and that's what makes this moment feel significant before anything is officially announced. As the rumor continues to spread, the conversation naturally shifts from the act of signing to what it could actually mean if this 4-year agreement becomes reality. Speculation paints a picture of strategic patience from the Cowboys, a franchise often accused of chasing headlines instead of building quietly. This time, the whispers suggest a more measured approach, where Cooper is viewed as a long-term investment rather than a short-term spark. For a YouTuber narrating this saga, it's the perfect pivot point, moving from the excitement of arrival to the deeper implications. Fans start asking how this changes the offensive philosophy, how defenses might have to adjust, and how younger players could benefit from having a consistent veteran presence. None of this requires confirmation to be compelling, because the imagination does the heavy lifting. The idea of continuity in a league defined by turnover is powerful, and a 4-year commitment symbolizes that desire for stability in a very public way. Another angle fueling the speculation is the financial chess game, supposedly happening behind closed doors. People love to guess how the Cowboys might structure a deal to keep flexibility while rewarding Cooper's value. Even without concrete numbers, the rumors suggest creativity and confidence from both sides. In a narrative sense, this portrays the franchise as savvy rather than reckless, which is a story fans enjoy telling themselves. For a YouTube channel, breaking this down becomes less about spreadsheets and more about philosophy, about whether the Cowboys are finally aligning their resources with a clear vision. Cooper, in this rumor, becomes the face of that vision, a receiver trusted to deliver not just catches, but leadership. The 4-year term keeps coming up because it feels intentional, long enough to matter, but not so long that it feels like a gamble gone wild. Speculation also leans heavily into how this rumored signing could reshape expectations around the team. When a star commits long-term, fans often interpret it as a vote of confidence in the direction of the organization. That's where the emotional side of sports kicks in, and YouTube storytelling thrives. The chatter implies that Cooper believes in the people around him, in the system, and in the chance to build something meaningful. Whether that belief is real or imagined, it becomes part of the narrative. Supporters start projecting growth, imagining chemistry developing over seasons rather than weeks. A 4-year window gives room for patience, and patience is a rare commodity in modern fandom. This rumor taps directly into that longing for something sustainable. There's also the legacy conversation that inevitably follows any long-term speculation. If Cooper truly signs for 4 years, people will start framing his time in Dallas as a defining chapter rather than a footnote. That kind of talk elevates a player from performer to symbol, and symbols are powerful in sports culture. For a YouTube personality, this is where you slow the pace and let the weight of the ideas sink in. The Cowboys are a franchise obsessed with history, and adding another potential long-term star feeds that obsession. Even as a rumor, it invites comparisons, debates, and endless hypotheticals, all of which keep the story alive far beyond the initial sighting at headquarters. Of course, no speculation would be complete without acknowledging the risk. A 4-year commitment, rumored or real, always carries uncertainty, and that tension adds drama to the story. Fans argue in both directions, some celebrating the stability, others worrying about the future. From a narrative standpoint, this conflict is essential. It keeps the conversation balanced and believable. The rumor doesn't paint a perfect picture. It paints an intriguing one, full of promise and questions. That's exactly what keeps people clicking, watching, and commenting. Cooper's arrival becomes less about a single moment and more about a crossroads for the franchise. As this speculative tale continues to unfold, one thing is clear in the storytelling sense. Amari Cooper walking into the Cowboys headquarters has sparked a chain reaction of imagination centered on a 4-year commitment that feels significant even without official confirmation. For a YouTube audience, that's the sweet spot, where rumor meets hope and analysis meets emotion. The story doesn't need an ending yet, because the journey itself is what keeps everyone engaged, waiting to see if the whispers turn into something real. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The speculation does not slow down. It actually gains more texture the longer people sit with the idea of Amari Cooper committing himself to the Cowboys for such an extended stretch. Around this rumor, fans and insiders alike start filling in the blanks with their own interpretations, imagining closed-door conversations where vision boards and long-term plans are laid out. The feeling being described is that this was not a rushed encounter, but a deliberate moment where both sides measured the weight of the decision. For storytelling purposes, this adds depth because it suggests maturity on both ends. Cooper is no longer just chasing opportunities, and the Cowboys are no longer just chasing names. The 4-year speculation symbolizes a meeting of timelines, where a player's prime aligns with a franchise's desire for consistency. This is the kind of narrative that resonates deeply in the YouTube space because it mirrors life decisions people understand, committing to something that promises growth but also demands belief. The rumor becomes less transactional and more philosophical, asking whether stability can finally outweigh constant change in a league addicted to movement. As the conversation stretches on, another layer emerges around how this rumored agreement could influence future decisions across the roster. Speculation suggests that a long-term commitment to Cooper might signal a broader shift in how the Cowboys prioritize continuity. Fans begin to wonder if this is the first domino in a series of calculated moves designed to create a more cohesive identity. From a narrative angle, this is where anticipation builds, because one rumored signing suddenly feels like the foundation for something larger. The idea that players notice these moves, that they feel reassured by them, feeds into the mythos of a locker room unified by shared direction. Even without confirmation, the perception alone can be powerful. For a YouTube storyteller, this is fertile ground, connecting dots that may or may not exist but feel plausible enough to captivate an audience. The 4-year rumor acts as an anchor, a reference point that allows every other discussion to orbit around it. In the end, what keeps this rumor alive is not just the possibility of a contract, but the story it allows people to tell themselves about the Cowboys and about Amari Cooper. It frames both as choosing patience over impulse, belief over uncertainty. The image of Cooper arriving at headquarters becomes symbolic, almost cinematic, like the opening scene of a longer arc yet to be written. For fans consuming this through a YouTube lens, that symbolism matters more than official statements. It invites them to project hopes, fears, and expectations onto a moment that feels important even in silence. The 4-year speculation remains unconfirmed, but its impact is already real in the way it dominates conversation and imagination. Until something concrete emerges, this rumor lives comfortably in that gray area where sports storytelling thrives, fueled by possibility and sustained by belief. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.